Alright lads, so today we are finally having a look at the brand new BANKAI Senjumaru over in Bleach Brave Souls. I'm a tad bit late to this, and it is my fault for not fully checking it, but I was waiting for her guild quest to come out because she is a guild quest focused unit. But unfortunately, this week, last week, and even next week, there's no upcoming Captain Killer guild quest, so it's going to be a while before we actually showcase it in the game mode she is designed for, and that's what originally delayed this video. But for today's video, we're here to have a look at how she performs outside of guild quests. And with that said, who would have thought that Senjumaru of all characters would have the most variations of any Squad Zero character, now currently being able to make a team of 3. On the right, we have the old manga version. Again, always very interesting how Caleb adapted the character to how the anime did it, where Caleb's interpretation was that the arms were not tied to the body, and instead was just floating arms behind her. Personally, real quick, I will also say that I do very much like the standing pose for this character in her Bankai. I believe this is the pose that she does do right before saying Bankai, and even though the left and the middle one, since they did release within the last year, they do have the exact same character model. There's no reason to change it, right? You at the very least can very easily differentiate the two just from the character pose itself. So with that said, Senjumaru herself is a power Soripa Squad Zero character, and that might be noteworthy. She's the first Squad Zero character to be a power attribute, and this is actually the attribute that I was always expecting this character to actually be in. For a killer, she has a Captain Killer Plus. When it comes to a soul trait, she does offer 2 soul traits, the first of its kind to a certain extent for newly released characters, offering recharge and more damage at full stamina. Of course, she isn't the first character to come out with 2 soul traits on release. That's been the norm since the 7th anniversary, but she's the first character to offer recharge and also full stamina. Lately, it's just been 20% strong attack damage. When we have a look at her skills, she does have quite a bit going for her. In terms of damage output, she has Frenzy +2, which does get increased to Frenzy 3 in guild quests, a 40% strong attack damage increase, and that goes with the extra 20% full stamina, so basically 60% more damage. She has extra melee damage, extra killer effects. Upon inflicting a stat element, she gets an 80% spiritual pressure boost, and then she has some other good utility effects: weaken defense, poise break, poise herself, 5-second debilitator, and also bombardment +1. Skill set wise, like I've already stated multiple times, I don't like the fact that an end of year character like BANKAI Senjumaru was given guild quest skills. Would have much preferred to have seen Frenzy +3 everywhere else, and then this extra melee and also killer effect damage would have been better just to have more damage to maybe status afflicted enemies or something like that. Damage output wise though, she isn't honestly too bad. We've seen a lot of characters like her released in the last like 5 or so months that isn't even given strong attack damage increase. Luckily, she was. Now, what does differentiate herself when compared to past characters in this game is the status element plus mechanic. That's something that Askin and also Ichigo does have, but it's more of a feature with this unit because every single attack that she has here inflicts a different status element. And that, in my opinion, is just super cool. It goes with the whole idea of the rooms that she is using in her strong attacks. Visually, you'll see in a minute, she looks absolutely amazing. And the idea for the most part is to hopefully be able to inflict all these enemies with different types of status elements all at the same time. In guild quest, for example, whenever we can showcase it in there, you can inflict the enemy with paralysis, stopping them in place, then inflict them with lacerate, then burn, then drain, and heal yourself back up to full stamina. The idea honestly is really cool, and I really do believe that Senjumaru was the best character to introduce this. One more thing though that is worth noting is that she also does have an EX attack, and it is one of the better EX attacks that you can have, very similar to 9th anniversary Grammy, which debuffs the enemy, buffs herself and her team, and also does some decent damage. So all that in mind, it's going to make a pretty good character, but an even better character in guild quests. Right from the get-go, if there was again some things I would have changed, disregarding the guild quest skills because that's the easy criticism on this unit, I would have preferred a better killer. Captain Killer Plus isn't bad, but a second killer would have been great because this character would have been really fun to use in Limit Breaker, with the whole idea that she has a very good EX attack and can inflict all these different stat elements. In the content that we use today, there's not going to be any enemies that really stay alive after her attacks that we can actually, demonstrate all these stat elements stacking onto one unit. So I would have loved to have taken it into Limit Breaker, but unfortunately with Captain Killer Plus, you're very rarely going to do that. But as for the build that we are using in today's video, we're going to go with the standard 5-star plus Lieutenant's badge, offering 35% strong attack damage and SP, artisanal T-set for more spiritual pressure, and also of course a fortification build. For the links, we have some of the better ones that we can put on her. Aaroniero, recharge, more damage at full stamina. Likewise with Ryukun, currently the best link in the entire game for power attribute characters. And then of course we also have good or reliable Senjumon Chad, recharge, and more damage at full stamina. For bonus abilities, at least for right now, we're going with full stamina and also long stride. When I'm playing with my characters, I like having that extra faster mobility, and that's what long stride is there for. Full stamina, you can never go without. But if we ever take it into Guild Quest content or Epic Raids, for example, we would opt in to use SP, 200 SP instead of long strides. Alright then, so with that said, let's jump into Link's Sword Trials to quickly demonstrate this character's attacks. Like I said already, if you've already seen the character, visually this character looks great. Like the fact that they were able to incorporate most of her Bankai, because not all of it has been included here, but most of it has, into almost every single attack is really cool. Like this Nat String looks absolutely beautiful. Her SA1 is going to be a vacuum-like vortex. Pretty good for inflicting styles, especially right now where we do have an increased chance against Soripers. Her SA2 is going to be a 960 in front of her. And then we do have our SA3, which you can see actually inflicted freeze on the SA2. And then actually, hold on. Ganju is not a Storyper, so we didn't have our increased chance there. But one thing I would have liked to this unit is if maybe Drain wasn't on the Sobom and EX attack. So I'm kind of forced to use one type of attack that you might only ever use once a quest to get back up to full stamina. But at least we got the option, so we can actually go ahead and use our EX here. Didn't need to be fair, but I did a decent amount of damage. Almost one shot in the boss at 1 out of 5. And that's about killer 2. SA2 feels good. SA3 is full screen. And you can see the bosses are going down super quick. Super quick. And then here, we can probably just use our SA1, then Sobom. Sobom is good. Again, the bombardment and weakened defense, and also the spiritual pressure boost does allow us to do a lot more damage there. And I think animation-wise, again, the Sobom is actually pretty good too. I mean, it's just her activating her Bankai, but that's exactly what we expected, right? There we go, SA2, and then a 1 to finish up. There we go. So for our very first run, we got a 1 minute and 29 second clear time. Pretty decent, but we can get faster, so let's try that once more. Alright, then attempt number 2. Now, one thing I've noticed while playing with this character is the animation for the SA2. It kind of makes it look like it's a vortex type of attack, because the way it works, it's grabbing everyone down. It's the attack that she does do against Pinida, but it's actually just a straight 960 in front of her. So the animation lingers on more than the actual damage. Like, if you saw there, it does look like it's still doing something, but it actually doesn't. So that SA2 is a tad bit misleading to a certain extent. But let's use the SA2 there. We actually got the Paralysis proc 2. Lovely. Let's go up here. Use our EX attack now. Was there any boss that spawned in? Didn't seem like it, but it does give us the extra stats, right? And that just lets us do more damage. And hopefully, because the boost is still active, we can go here and maybe sub them all the way through. Close enough. But one thing that's worth mentioning with this character is how reliant she is going to be when it comes to stacking that spiritual pressure boost, right? Because one problem a character will have, especially in Guild Quest, when you have a very high chance to inflict a status summon, if you already inflict a status summon on an enemy that maybe just spawned in, but your spiritual pressure boost leaves after 2 seconds, you're now kind of stuck there for like 4, 5, 6 seconds or more as you wait for that status summon to expire. With Senjumaru, because every attack inflicts a different status summon, once that spiritual pressure boost goes away, she can just instantly reapply it, even if an enemy is inflicted with burn, paralysis, lacerate, etc. And that's going to be more noteworthy when it comes to Guild Quest content, or at least when you are up against multiple enemies that are Soripers. In that case though, run was actually pretty good, 56 seconds, let's try once more. Alright, number 3, let's see if we actually can clear a tad bit faster, try and get around 45 seconds remaining if possible. Maybe I misused the strong attack there, but we do get a status proc at the very least, and we can kind of see there, it's cycled between like 3 different style elements. So I guess for those that are wondering what the visuals looked like there, if you actually made it out, that Ganju was inflicted with freeze, paralysis, and also burn, and it just cycles between all of them. Which I guess is expected, to be fair, because that's what double style elements look like. But it is really funny seeing a character inflicted with multiple style elements. And I kind of just messed up all my strong attack placement in this run. But it doesn't seem too bad. And at the very least, like I said, if you do take damage, you have an extra way to heal up just by using your EX attack or Sobom. Unfortunately, it is quite the big attack, right? You maybe want to save for a certain boss, but let's go use the Sobom. Forgot that that inflicts Lacerate, and then we can actually use our EX attack, take him down, grab this box to heal ourselves back up, and then once more we're going into Ichigo. Let me not use a Sobom. Let me just see if we can like brute force our way through it. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of full stamina here. And Ichigo, despite technically being a Soripe, is classed as no affiliation. A lot of no affiliation enemies in this quest, but lucky for us, there are a lot of Soripers at the same time. That was a 1 minute run. I'm not super happy with that one. I was going to make that our last one, but let's try once more so we can get a tad bit faster. Alrighty then, so final run. Here we go. So let's go here. SA1. Go down and use our SA2. Dodge out the way. Into the 3. That seems to be the play there. And then we can group everyone up with the SA1. Lovely. Going into this. I do like her SA1, by the way, because it does have good range, and it's going to be really good for inflicting stat ailments, especially against Guild Quest enemies, right? There we go. Nice and easy. That's the run you want to get. Let's SA2. Maybe use our EX now. Did I one-shot? It didn't, but it does increase our damage. Maybe I missed the area of effect there. But we have our boost active, so let's go here. Soul Bomb. Finish up with the 2. Lovely. And then with that, we can grab our Soul Bomb and also finish up with just 1 extra strong attack, right? No, we actually Soul Bombed all the way through. Lovely. And again, animation-wise, I really like this character's visuals. And when we have plenty of Senjumarus to play with, the original Senjumaru is still like a very smooth and fun to play character. Still great to this day. One of the better farmers in the game to play with. So you really get the best of everything with Senjumaru if you are a fan of it. You get to play as this one, the Bankai one. You get to play as a previous one. And the old one isn't the greatest, but still a decently usable character nonetheless. And with that, 46 seconds. That's honestly pretty good. Next up, let's take Senjumaru into the ultimate Grimmjow epic raid, where keep in mind this boss has 80 million HP, but at the same time, we do have a 3 times damage bonus. Now, for our first run, we are going to do a solo run, just to show what it does look like, but it is pretty difficult, and I've yet to actually pull it off. Keep in mind, Ichigo, one of the best characters in the entire game, was able to pull it off, but he's more of a burst damage character, and the idea with this epic raid, since you are forced to take damage, unless you can brute force your way through phase 3, you're forced to take damage, and that really does sell the run, at least when you try to do solo runs. With that in mind though, the build is the exact same that we have been using. We've now put on SP instead of Long Stride as a bonus ability, and the familiars that we are using is Toshiro, giving us 40% strong attack damage and also full stamina, and then also Yuhabak for the extra bang damage, that way we don't die. Alright, so as I said, let's jump into it. Now, one thing to keep in mind, luckily we did actually get a status proc. If we had Frenzy 3, or if we had Captain Killer Plus, more so if this character was a captain, the Grimmjow instead, right? We actually would be able to very easily beat this. So we were really just like one thing away from being able to very easily solo this 80 million behemoth. That is the ultimate Grimmjow epic raid. Now with that said, phase 1 is about to be done. Just have to use hopefully 1 more strong attack. There we go. One thing to keep in mind too is that in epic raids, you only can really inflict stat ailments when the boss isn't attacking. So when you don't have an increased chance, you're gonna have to wait like there, for example, to get all your damage off. But thus far, that's good. Now, the big problem, again, comes from phase 3, because that's when the boss does their bind attack, and we're kind of forced to take damage. So, you'll see here. Let's use our Nurturing. Kind of used it maybe a bit too slow there. But now we use our Soul Bomb. And then we're going to wait for our next attack to get off the EX attack. Unfortunately, might have thrown the run a tad bit, because I just took damage. But that's how tough it is, because now we use the EX. Not quite back up to full stamina, right? And then at that point, we get locked again. We're forced to take damage. So it is pretty tough trying to do it by herself. Most characters can't unless you have that super brute force damage that someone like Ichigo has, for example. So with that said, let's try that again, this time with a full lobby, because very rarely do you ever want to do, in no situation would you want to do solo runs, but it is fun for just the content, right? So I have all my visuals turned on right now, so it's kind of hard to keep track here, but let me use my Soul Bomb. There we go, get the status proc. And again, everyone else should also be able to inflict the stat ailment if you are using Senjumaru, right? Really good damage there. If we also potentially group in our EX attacks, we also do a lot more. Let's flash step out the way. Try to dodge all these attacks. And then we should very easily get into stage 3 with that SA1. And then I use my EX attack to debuff and also boost our teammates. And then we should kill here with just the SA3. There we go. Nice and easily done. 30-second run. 4 Senjumarus, 2 Ichigos, and then of course with that we're going to be getting all the extra medals, right? 210 here. Let's try that again. Jumping into our next run though, I think this lobby does have 3 Bankai Senjumaru, so not too bad. If we all like position or use our EX attacks in accordance to each other, we could potentially have that boost stay up for like 45 seconds, I believe. I think it's 15 seconds each. That's what Gremulus is like. So let me use my EX now. I think everyone else used their EX. Maybe that wasn't the best thing to do, but
BANKAI.
it's fine. Someone just used their Soul Bomb. The weakened defense has been applied. There we go. Nice and easy. I'm going to go ahead and use my Soul Bomb now. Maybe shouldn't have done that because, yeah, my EX or my SP boost just went. But we can potentially reapply it with another strong attack. Hopefully now. Let's find out. Oh, there we go. Lovely. And again, the best part is, like, no one's taking talismans from each other. At least if you're using Senjumaru. If Toshiro inflicts freeze, that's not stopping me from inflicting a talisman. That someone goes off. Unfortunately, I've taken a hit on the edge of the wall. That's fine, though. Because we should hopefully kill here. Just one more strong attack free. There we go. Nice and easy. Now, the SA3, at least when it comes to epic raids, can actually blind you for like a brief second. So do keep that in mind. Very similar to the original Bambietta or a few other attacks throughout the years that it almost covers your entire screen. It looks cool, but it sometimes can cost you a run. Maybe make you get hit. In that run, 50 seconds. Let's try one more. Jumping into our final run. This lobby does have 4 Bankai Senjumaru. So let me start off by using our EX attack. We also have a Mugetsu, which actually helps us out. Oh, forgot I wasn't supposed to be that. For some reason, I thought that was dragging in
BANKAI.
instead of pushing out. So I've lost a bit of damage here, but hopefully with my summon I can get back up to full stamina. And now we also have a Mugetsu, and Mugetsu does buff our damage too by 20%. So we'll take it. Let me use my summon now, just so I can get back up to full stamina. There we go. Again, it is nice that we do have the ability to get back up to full stamina, even if it's only on 2 attacks. At least the EX attack is reoccurring. Depending how long the run does go for, you know, you can use that maybe twice, 3 times a game. Right, let's dodge out the way. Let's wait. This one, awfully slow when it comes to building up. SA3. Again, potentially can blind you, so be careful. Oh, that was very close. I'm, for some reason, forgetting that the boss is actually pushing out, not inwards. Right, very close here. Make sure we stay at full stamina. Now, my EX attack is back, so I'm going to go ahead and use it now. And I've taken damage. Oh, no. This is such a bad run for me. It's fine, though. Actually, maybe it's not. Hold on. We can actually get one shot here. No, it's me. That's fine. Did I not get dragged into it? Okay, it wasn't me. But here comes the insta-kill attack, or it's not actually about to happen yet. It's the next attack. That's fine, though. We luckily did beat it. So that was a pretty bad run, but we still beat in like 1 minute and 5 seconds. Obviously not too bad. Especially when you are doing 5 times runs. But yeah, a full lobby of Senjumaru, especially those that are worked on, is a very easy sub 30 second run, which we, I believe, did do in our very first run. Now, for our final part of the video, again, we can't take it into Guild Quest right now, but I do want to quickly just talk about some team building that you can do with this unit when it comes to the immediate Captain Guild Quest. So this is an example team that should be able to work. One thing you're going to notice when it comes to the melee Captain Killer Guild Quest is that Unohana does exist, and she's still an amazing character, even a year and a half later, right? Now, because Unohana has been out for like a year and a half, very likely you might have a max transcended. And in all honesty, at max transcended, she might be able to get a higher score than a 1-5 Senjumaru. But I think for the average player that doesn't have Unohana maxed out, that doesn't have really good team support or very good links to carry her and make her brute force her way through all 5 waves of Nightmare, I think Senjumaru is going to be a bit more accessible. Especially again if you did pull on the end of year, because Toshiro was also there. Now, Toshiro is the dedicated normal attack damage character for this phase that can inflict freeze. And even if he does, again, it's not going to stop Senjumaru from also inflicting her status augments. If anything, though, with Senjumaru's status augments and also Toshiro, you have just very good crowd control, hopefully stopping the enemy in place. And with that in mind too, when Senjumaru does inflict a status augment, or in the very small chance Toshiro does, that's why you might want to have someone like Mishiro on the team use the Mugetsu soul trait to get 20% more strong attack damage, and then also offer 40% more damage to power attribute Soripers when you are damaging an enemy that is inflicted with a status augment. Since both Toshiro and Senjumaru are power characters, they're both getting that buff and both doing more damage. For all we know, this might be the better team to use, especially if in the future, extra level 3, 4, and 5 eventually exists. Because you're going to want to have some type of normal attack damage character, and that's where Toshiro comes in. And likewise, though, what you could also potentially do, if you don't have Mishiro, is just use good or reliable Tenjiro, because he kind of does the same thing. In this case, he'll actually be boosting your team, maybe keeping them at full stamina, and with his team boost, that will allow you to go full normal attack damage on Toshiro, and then he's also giving 30% more damage to Soribus. So that will be the general idea on how you build Senjumaru's team, using 2 characters that are available right now on the end of year banner. So recapping the character, I really like this unit. I feel like to a certain extent, they did Bankai Senjumaru justice because this is one of the few anime original characters that we only are getting because the anime did this. It's a super cool moment in the anime, and this character is super cool. I love the whole idea that she was one of the few characters, one of the first 3 characters that introduced this status omen plus mechanic. And again, like I mentioned at the start, it's more of a feature with her because each attack inflicts a different status omen. It just seems like this was made specifically in mind for Bankai Senjumaru because of her whole visual set, with each attack representing a different room of her Bankai. I love the fact that they gave her Gremmy's EX attack. That's really good. And outside of Gyoku's, honestly, this character was actually pretty fun. She was good enough, right? I know there have been cases over the last couple of months where Gyoku's skills ruin characters, but I think in Senjumaru's case, it doesn't. But having said that, for an end-of-year character, I really feel like she should have been given Frenzy +3 everywhere, especially in the same battle with Ichigo. Why are we balancing Senjumaru but not balancing Ichigo? It kind of doesn't make sense. If anything, though, the biggest thing I don't like about this unit, even though I have more things to like about her, it is the killer. Because I feel like she's actually a really fun unit, a really good unit too, especially with that EX attack that I would have loved to have used it in Limit Breaker, which is something that I'm not really going to do because most of the time there is killer bonuses. If she was given Captain Killer Plus and Soripa Killer, or just Soripa Killer Plus maybe, I don't know, just a different killer that isn't just Captain, Squad Zero, Stelmrit, etc. I feel like she would have been a really fun unit to use in Limit Breaker. And I guess it might be also worth mentioning she does get arena skills, so that's also somewhere you can actually use her. So yeah, overall, a fun unit, a good unit at that, gets better in Guild Quests. I don't think she's held back by Guild Quest skills. But for an end of year character, again, I would have liked her to be on the same level of Ichigo. Because right now, Ichigo is competing for best character in the entire game. And I feel like Senjumaru, had she been given a better killer, maybe if she was given Frenzy Free everywhere, she would have maybe competing for top 3 character in the entire game. Instead, maybe she's top 10. So overall, a really good unit that was just one maybe skill away from being like super broken like Ichigo. Nonetheless, she's very fun to use. So in the comments below, let me know your opinion on this character. And I'll see that next time when we showcase her on the channel, when finally we ever get the Captain Killer Guild Quest. I know I can check the schedule, but I'm being a bit lazy. It's coming up eventually. And when it does, I'm sure she's going to be a great unit in that. So I hope you liked the video. See you guys next time. Take care and peace.